You go in with the mentality that if things get hard, if things get unpleasant, if things get rough, I can just, slip out.
The children that are hurt,
Yes.
people that just went around, did whatever they wanted, and then left, and then we're left with these hurting children.
Hi, welcome back to Gotta Be Me podcast. We're so happy to be here again with you today. We are your hosts. My name is Sophia Benyon. This is my cousin Peyton Benyon. And we are passionate about discussing relevant issues, things that are happening, affecting us in our world today. We're very concerned, as everyone should be, of course, about oppression. We have a deep desire to help reveal all oppression, expose it for what it is, and even more importantly, to find the answer, to find the solution, the cause, and the cure. Today, we're going to talk about a question that we commonly get asked when people meet us as soon as they start interacting.
We're always so curious about it.
So curious, like
How does
and you
that
can see them like
work?
working up their bravery to ask you a question, like scooting closer and like whispering, like, should we ask them? Like you can tell that's what they're doing.
Cracks
And then
me up.
they ask us the dress question. Why do you dress like that?
Right,
And then after we
that's
get into
first.
why they dress like that, sometimes it can be question 3 or 4. It's normally pretty high up in the list is, why don't you date? Or how can you get married? I'm very confused by the fact that we don't date. People just think,
Yeah.
you don't date? What are you?
How can you
might-
ever get married?
You might be
if
from
you don't
Mars now.
date?
Like, you are an alien. You do
Yep.
not date. So before we get into like all the reasons you don't date, I would like to first like just say for ourselves like how we think of dating. To me, to us, we feel like dating is kind of like an experiment. You're trying to figure out what works, what you like.
See if it's good or not.
But what you're doing is trying so many different things.
It doesn't involve commitment.
Nothing of like you're
Like
just
that.
checking a little bit here and you're flitting over there and oh I don't like that. Let's
It's
see
not
this
a
over
serious
here.
endeavor.
You're just
Like the
trying
foundation
things.
of dating is not like serious,
Right.
and sober, and
Right.
leading towards.
anything.
It doesn't have to lead.
It
Towards
doesn't have to anything. It
Yeah,
can just be. And we feel like as opposed to dating, I just want to say this at the beginning, what we do, we would consider courtship. And to us, courtship is much more serious. It involves commitment. It means, we're planning to working towards marriage, getting to know you so that we can marry. But it's not an experiment where we go around
Right.
and
It's
try
not like
things.
a 3-week try it on, see. Yeah.
Let's go to a movie and see how we like it. Like,
no.
it's not that type of thing. And the thing is, of course, like in our community, we have friends that are boys and then courtship happens after that. But as far as dating goes, we don't do it. And we'd like to get into why. I think, Peyton, that you had some like thoughts about dating and like part of what is the problem with it.
Well, I just think that dating is like a pretty casual affair, and it leads to many casualties.
That's a good way to
Like
put
a lot
it.
of people are really hurt. There's like a lot of results. It seems like the cons outweigh the pros.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people are getting into relationships quickly,
Right?
and then they're having unwanted pregnancies a lot of times. And I feel like from a female perspective, of course there's a male perspective, but I'm obviously not going to talk about that because I'm a female.
Right.
But like from a female perspective, unwanted pregnancies, you're kind of stuck with the
You're
decision
the
of
one
what to
dealing
do.
with the trauma, right?
And like in the past, if we talk about in the past, whenever there's an unwanted pregnancy, who gets shamed? Mm-hmm. The woman.
If you talk about back to our problem with Protestantism and conservatism, what's that famous classic?
The Scarlet Letter.
The Scarlet Letter by
Nathaniel Hawthorne,
That's
right?
right.
I think so.
He shows the hypocrisy in it. How this woman had to walk around, with an A for adulteress emblazoned on
with
her
the
dress.
big- yeah.
And the man was literally still a preacher in his church. Like, he got off
And
scot-free.
he felt guilty, but he didn't have to bear it. If
he
he
didn't
didn't
have
want to, he
he
could literally ignore it. You could literally
walked out of the picture,
walk away,
never had
and you're
anything to do
gone.
with it.
And that's a problem. And I think it comes from having a spirit of dating.
Right,
Like
right.
just walking in that spirit of casualness. You can walk away anytime you
You can
want.
walk in and walk right out. And I think, and I agree, that's what it comes from. If you don't enter into the relationship with commitment, you can just jump out as soon as
And I
things
think
get
dating
hard.
is more about instant gratification. You quickly
Right.
get what you want, but the end result is always like if you are dating in the spirit of dating, it's going to end in heartbreak and things you don't want.
Right, because
Automatically, it will.
Right, because you get in, but then you have this mentality. You go in with the mentality that if things get hard, if things get unpleasant, if things get rough, I can just, slip out. And that's not what marriage is all about. Of course marriage is hard. Of course marriage is a challenge. having two people live together, you know, and try to, like, you're two separate people. It's going to be difficult. But if you enter into a relationship with the mentality that there's an option, there's a way out, then you won't work as hard on it. You won't fight for your relationship like that, right?
Yeah, you haven't made vows like that. You're
Right.
not, you know, and if it doesn't lead towards a serious thing, then what's the point? And honestly, when I think about it from my perspective, like, it just makes so much more sense to skip the whole dating thing.
Yeah, not be trying it out. I feel like also when you date, it can tend to lower your self-value. Like, as a woman, I feel like for me personally, if I'm bouncing from man to man, that just like brings down my self-worth. I'm sharing myself, me, like the deepest parts of me, or even like my body with like 10 men before I arrive at the right one. That feels like it lowers my own value. You know what I'm saying?
It completely does.
And not only that, but it lowers my own self-esteem. Like, if you go through, like,
you get dumped or you get cheated on,
and
or even if you end it, women can end relationships too. But I'm just saying, if you can get cheated on, you can get, you know, it's just not nice.
It's super jacked up.
And if you can skip it, why not?
Why not?
You know what I mean?
Another big problem that I have with casual relationships, which to me that's what dating is I have like really good friends. First of all, I have really good friends that are single moms, and I watch them struggle every single day to provide for their children, to put food on the table. Not that they're not doing a good job at it. Of course, they're doing their best and they're successful. But
they need their
it's not how it was meant to be. It was
not how God created it to work.
Parenting was not supposed to be, you know, a one person job. It's two people working together. And I have friends that grew up in one parent homes, and I see the trauma that they deal with, and I see the confusion and the pain like every day of like, well, why wasn't my dad there? Why doesn't my dad care? You know, like it's like it causes health issues. It causes mental health issues, and it's destructive. You know what it is? It's selfish. It's completely selfish.
It's instant gratification, solely carnal and fleshly.
All you're thinking about is yourself and how you can please yourself right now in the moment. You're not thinking about the future. You're not building a foundation
it's honestly,
to be successful.
Like super upsetting if you look at it from that perspective.
Yes.
Like the children that are hurt,
yes.
People that just went around, did whatever they wanted, and then left, and then we're left with these hurting children.
Right.
That's completely wrong, and I think it was done in the spirit of dating.
Right. Not to mention our epidemic of STIs. That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother
topic.
Thing.
And I'm just saying, if you do things, you know, what we feel like is God's way, it's the best way. It's the safest way. It guarantees the least amount of heartbreak. And I'm not saying heartbreak never happens. Of course not. But it's gonna be by far your best option.
So those are some of the reasons we don't date.
And I mean, we just look around at the world. We use our brains. We use
our eyes. It doesn't take
a
rocket scientist.
It's not hard for us to see that doing it God's way is just the happiest, the safest, and the best way. And, you know, we're proud of what we do. We're proud of, and we know why we do it. You know, we're not just running around doing random things because we got told to. We have understanding, and we're actually passionate about why we do the things the way we do them. And if you have any more questions about that, any comments, please post them in the comment section below. We would love to interact with you and answer any more questions you have. As always, we're very happy to be here with you again. And that's all we have for this podcast. You know what time it is.
Peace, love, and hair grease.